The gun was already pointed at my chest when I realized kindness might kill me. But let me back up. Let me tell you how a sandwich at an airport turned into a death sentence, wrapped in Italian leather and old money. My name's not important yet. What matters is what I saw that November night at Gate 47, when the airport hummed like a restless heart and I was just another tired face in a sea of strangers. I've been wiping down tables for 6 hours straight. My feet ached. My back screamed. The fluorescent lights made everything look sick and yellow. That's when I saw her, an old woman, trembling by the window like a leaf barely hanging on. Her clothes were expensive, I could tell that much, but she looked lost. Forgotten. The kind of alone that makes your chest tight. I grabbed the last turkey sandwich from the break room. It wasn't much, probably stale, but she looked like she needed it more than I did. Mom. I walked over slowly, the way you approach a scared animal. You okay? She looked up at me with eyes that had seen too much. Dark circles underneath. Hands shaking so bad she could barely hold her purse. I'm fine, she whispered, but we both knew that was a lie. I held out the sandwich. When's the last time you ate? She stared at it like I'd just offered her diamonds. Then she took it with both hands, and I swear I saw tears forming. Kindness is rare, she said, her accent thick and musical. Italian, maybe, and often dangerous. I should have asked what she meant. I should have walked away. But something about her pulled at me, like she was carrying a weight so heavy it might crush her any second. That's when the airport exploded into chaos. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. Security guards appeared out of nowhere. Men in dark suits with earpieces, moving like sharks. The PA system crackled about a delayed private flight. People started whispering, pointing. The old woman tried to stand, but her legs gave out. I caught her before she hit the ground. Please, she gripped my arm with surprising strength. Don't let them see me weak. Let who see you? But then they were there. 4 men, expensive watches catching the light. One of them spoke rapid Italian into his phone. Another positioned himself between us and the crowd like a human wall. The old woman straightened her spine, became someone else entirely, someone used to being obeyed. The flight is ready, Signora Moretti, one guard said, his voice cold and professional. Moretti. The name rang a bell somewhere in the back of my mind. News stories. Whispers about Italian families and businesses that operated in shadows. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and smiled. It was sad and knowing and terrifying all at once. Come with me, she said. I can't. I'm working. I don't even know you. You fed me when no one else saw me. That makes you dangerous to some people. Safe with me. She gestured toward the guards. Please, I want to thank you properly. Every instinct screamed to refuse. To go back to my tables and my minimum wage and my safe, small life. But something in her eyes begged me. Not for company. For witness. Like she needed someone to see whatever came next. I followed her through the terminal. Through doors marked authorized personnel only. Downstairs that led to the tarmac where a private jet waited, sleek and white and impossible. That's when the headlights flared. A black car pulling up fast. A man stepped out. Tall, sharp-featured, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my entire year's rent. His eyes found me immediately. Cold, calculating, deadly. He walked toward us with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no in his entire life. Mama, he said, his voice smooth as expensive whiskey. Then those eyes locked onto mine. You must be the girl who fed my mother. The way he said it made my blood freeze. Not grateful. Not warm. Like I just signed a contract I couldn't read. Would you have gone with her? Tell me below if you'd risk kindness for a stranger. I'd never been inside a private jet before. Hell, I'd only flown commercial twice in my life, both times squeezed into middle seats that smelled like recycled air and broken dreams. This was different. This was another universe. Cream leather seats, mahogany tables, crystal glasses that probably cost more than my car, and silence. The kind of silence that feels expensive, like even the air knew to behave itself around these people. The guards positioned themselves at the front and back. Human bookends, watching everything, watching me. Matteo Moretti sat across from his mother, but his eyes never left my face, studying me like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve, or a threat he hadn't eliminated yet. Sit, he said. Not an invitation, a command. I sat. The old woman, Luciana, smiled at me, reached across and squeezed my hand. Don't mind my son. He trusts no one. Can you blame me? Mateo's voice was ice wrapped in velvet. A stranger feeds you in an airport, follows you on my plane. Forgive me for questioning the timing. The timing of what? My voice came out smaller than I wanted. He leaned forward. My mother was supposed to die last night. Someone poisoned her tea before she left for the airport. The only reason she's alive is because she got sick on the way there. Couldn't keep anything down. Except, apparently, your sandwich. The words hit me like a slap. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know anything about. I believe you, Luciana interrupted. My son doesn't. Not yet. The jet engines roared to life. We were moving. Actually moving. I looked out the window and watched the airport lights blur into streams of gold. Wait, where are we going? Home, Mateo said simply. You're home, not mine. I have a job, an apartment. I can't just. You can. You will. He poured himself wine from a bottle that probably had a vintage older than me. Someone tried to murder my mother. You're now connected to her. Connected to me. That makes you either very useful or very dangerous. I'm neither. I am nobody. Nobody doesn't exist in my world, Miss Brennan. Everyone is something. Everyone wants something. How did he know my name? I never told them. Then I remembered the name tag, still pinned to my uniform. Calla Brennan. Airport services. A steward appeared with plates of food. Real food. Pasta that smelled like heaven. Bread still warm. I hadn't eaten since my shift started 10 hours ago. Eat, Luciana urged. Please. It's the least we can do. I picked up the fork. My hands were shaking. Everything about this felt wrong. Felt dangerous. But I was starving and scared and 30,000 feet in the air with nowhere to run. Mateo watched me eat. Every bite. Every swallow. Like he was waiting for me to reveal myself as whatever he thought I was. You have kind eyes, Luciana said softly. Like my sister did. Before the world took her. Mama don't. Mateo's voice carried a warning. She should know what kindness means in our family. What it costs. The temperature in the cabin dropped 10 degrees. Mateo set down his glass with careful precision. The kind of careful that comes right before violence. In my world, he said, each word measured and sharp, good deeds cost more than gold. They cost blood, loyalty, sometimes lives. You gave my mother food. Simple. Pure. But now people will ask questions. They'll want to know who you are. Why you were there. What you saw. I didn't see anything. Doesn't matter. Perception is reality. And the reality is, you're now part of a story that hasn't finished being written. The plane banked left. My stomach dropped. Or maybe that was just the fear finally catching up. How long is this flight? Mateo smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. 8 hours. Try to sleep, Miss Brennan. You'll need your strength. The cabin lights dimmed. Luciana closed her eyes, exhausted. The guard became shadows. I pressed my forehead against the cold window and watched America disappear beneath clouds and darkness. When I woke up, the sun was rising over mountains I didn't recognize. Terracotta roofs. Cypress trees. Water so blue it looked fake. Mateo was standing in the aisle, buttoning his suit jacket, looking like he'd never slept at all. Welcome to Italy, Miss Brennan. Ever had a good deed lead you somewhere unexpected? Like, share, and tell me your story. The villa appeared through morning mist like something out of a fever dream. Stone walls older than my country. Gardens that sprawled for acres. A lake so still it mirrored the sky perfectly. Beautiful. Terrifying. Both at once. The car wound up the driveway, gravel crunching under expensive tires. I counted 6 security cameras just on the entrance alone. Men in dark clothes patrolled the perimeter. This wasn't a home. It was a fortress pretending to be paradise. Luciana touched my arm. It's overwhelming at first. You'll adjust. I'm not staying. I can't stay. This is crazy. Crazy is relative, my dear. Mateo said nothing. Just stared out his window like a king surveying his kingdom. Cold. Distant. Completely in control of everything except, maybe me. The car stopped. Doors opened. Staff appeared from nowhere. A woman in a black dress, severe and efficient, approached with a tablet. "Sir, the doctor is waiting in the West Wing. The shipment from Milan arrived early, and your cousin called 3 times. Tell Rico I'll speak with him when I'm ready." Not before. Matteo's voice could have frozen the sun. Then he looked at me. "Sophia will show you to your room. Stay there until I send for you. I'm not a prisoner." "No, you're a guest. There's a difference. Doesn't feel like one." Something flickered in his eyes. Amusement? Respect? It vanished before I could tell. Sophia led me inside. Marble floors, paintings that belonged in museums, chandeliers dripping with crystal. My entire apartment could fit in the entryway. We climbed stairs that seemed to go on forever, hallways lined with doors that stayed closed. Everything was beautiful and cold and utterly silent. "Here," Sophia said, opening a door at the end of the hall. The room was bigger than any place I'd ever lived. 4-poster bed, balcony overlooking the lake, bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people, clothes already hanging in the closet, my size, styles I'd never wear. "How did you?" "Mr. Moretti is very thorough." Sophia's face revealed nothing. "Lunch will be brought to you at noon. Do not leave this room until he sends for you." She left before I could ask anything else. I stood there, surrounded by luxury that felt like a cage, and thought about my mom, working double shifts at the diner, choosing between electricity and groceries, teaching me that kindness didn't cost money, only courage. What would she think if she could see me now? I walked to the balcony. The view stole my breath. Rolling hills, vineyards, a world painted in gold and green. But beyond the beauty, I saw the cameras, the guards, the walls. A knock on the door made me jump. "Come in." An older man entered, carrying a medical bag. White coat, kind eyes. He smiled. "Miss Brennan, I'm Dr. Caruso. I need to run some tests." Standard procedure. Test for what? Blood work. To ensure you weren't exposed to the same toxin as Signora Moretti. My heart stopped. "You think I was poisoned too?" "No, but Mr. Moretti insists. He's very protective of those under his roof." The needle pinched. He took 3 vials, labeled them carefully, all while making small talk about the weather, the villa, how lucky I was to be here. Lucky, right? After he left, I tried the door. Unlocked. I walked down the hallway. Everything was too quiet, like the house was holding its breath. I found a library. Walls of books and languages I couldn't read. A fireplace big enough to stand in. And there on the desk, a folder with my name on it. I shouldn't have looked. I knew I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Photos of me, my apartment, my job, my mom's address, bank statements, school records, everything. He'd researched me, completely, before I'd even woken up on the plane. Under the photos, a handwritten note in sharp, angular script. "Innocent or excellent actress? Observe closely." The door opened behind me. "Find anything interesting?" Matteo's voice made me spin around. He stood in the doorway, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, looking at me like I was exactly where he expected me to be. Because this had been a test. The unlocked door. The folder left out. All of it. "Who are you people?" My voice shook. Anger. Fear. Both. The kind who survive by knowing everything. He stepped into the room. The kind who don't believe in coincidences or strangers with good timing. "I'm not whatever you think I am." "Then what are you, Calla Brennan?" Before I could answer, Luciana's voice echoed through the house. Weak. Scared. "Matteo. Matteo, come quickly." He was gone before I could blink. I followed him down the stairs, my heart pounding. Luciana was in the sitting room, pale as death, staring at something in her hands. A photograph, recent, of her at the airport, with a red X drawn across her face. "Every home built on fear eventually crumbles," she whispered. Matteo took the photo. His jaw tightened. The temperature in the room plummeted. He looked at me, then at his mother, then back to me. "Pack a bag. You're moving to the room next to mine, where I can watch you." Do you think she should trust him? Comment what your gut says. Matteo's study smelled like leather and secrets. He sat behind a desk that looked carved from a single piece of dark wood. Behind him, floor-to-ceiling windows framed the lake like a painting. Beautiful prison. That's all I could think. Seat. Same commanding tone. Like he'd never asked for anything in his life, only demanded. He said. He pushed a folder across the desk. Medical reports. Lab results. Words I couldn't pronounce. That sandwich you gave my mother. It saved her life. I blinked. What? The poison was slow-acting. Designed to look like heart failure. Natural causes. But she couldn't keep food down, remember? Her body rejected everything. Until your sandwich. It absorbed enough of the toxin to keep her alive until we got her real treatment. The room tilted. That's impossible. It's documented. Dr. Caruso confirmed it. He leaned back, studying me with those cold, calculating eyes. You didn't know. I believe that now. But someone close to my mother tried to kill her. Someone in this house. And now they won't know who you are. Why you're here. What you saw. I didn't see anything. I keep telling you that. Doesn't matter. You're a variable now. An unknown factor in their plan. That makes you dangerous. To them and to yourself. My chest felt tight. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. 24 hours ago, I was wiping tables. Now I was sitting in an Italian villa talking about murder and poison. Who would want to hurt her? She's an old woman. Matteo's laugh was bitter, sharp enough to cut. My mother isn't just an old woman. She's the head of the Moretti family. She controls more money than most countries. Her approval makes or breaks lives, careers, legacies. So someone in your family tried to kill her. Yes. And you haven't figured out who. His silence was answer enough. I stood up, paced, needed to move, or I'd scream. This is insane. I need to go home. I need to call my mom. She's probably losing her mind. I didn't show up for my shift. I didn't call. Your mother thinks you want a contest. An all-expenses-paid trip to Italy. She received a very convincing email from a travel company that doesn't exist. I spun around. You what? I protected you. Protected her. If whoever tried to kill my mother thinks you're important to me, they'll use anyone close to you as leverage. Your mother is safer thinking you're on vacation. You had no right. I have every right. You're my world now. My rules. Rage burned through my fear. I'm not some chess piece you can move around. No, you're worse. You're an innocent person in a game where innocence gets people killed. He stood, walked around the desk. Closer. Too close. I'm trying to keep you alive, Calla, even if you can't see it. By keeping me prisoner? By keeping you visible. In this house, being close to me is the safest place you can be. No one touches what's mine. I'm not yours. His eyes locked onto mine. Dark. Intense. Dangerous in ways that had nothing to do with violence. Then why are you still here? I didn't have an answer for that. A knock interrupted whatever was happening between us. A guard entered, whispered something in Italian. Matteo's expression hardened. What? What is it? We found the delivery method. The poison was in her tea. Prepared by Sophia. Sophia? The severe woman who'd shown me to my room. But she's been with your family for years. 23 years, Matteo confirmed. Which means someone got to her. Paid her. Threatened her. Or she's been waiting for the perfect moment all along. He walked toward the door. Stopped. Look back at me. A servant will be outside your door tonight. Don't leave. Don't trust anyone. Not the staff. Not the guards. His voice dropped lower. Colder. Not even me. He left. I stood there, shaking. Not from fear. From something else. Something I couldn't name. Hours later, I couldn't sleep. The bed was too soft. The silence too loud. I walked to the window, looked out at the gardens bathed in moonlight. That's when I saw it. My photo. Pinned to a corkboard in the room across the courtyard. Matteo's office. I could see him through the window, pacing. Phone pressed to his ear. And around my photo, red circles. Notes. Lines connecting to other faces I didn't recognize. I was a suspect. Still, even after everything, the sound behind me made me freeze. The doorknob turned slowly. So slowly. I grabbed the lamp from the nightstand. Held it like a weapon. The door opened. A figure stood in the hallway. Dark clothes. Ski mask. They whispered 2 words that made my blood ice over. Don't trust anyone here. Not even him. Then they were gone. Disappeared into the shadows like they'd never existed. I ran to the door. Looked both ways. Empty hallways. No guards. No servants. Just silence and darkness and the sound of my heart trying to escape my chest. I went back to the desk by the window, pulled open the drawer, looking for paper, pen, something to write with, something to make sense of this nightmare. That's when I found it. Another photo of me on Mateo's desk, in his private drawer, circled in red ink, with one word written underneath in his sharp handwriting: protect. If you were her, would you stay or run? Drop your answer below. 3 days passed. 3 days of living in luxury that felt like a gilded cage. Mateo avoided me. Or maybe I avoided him. Hard to tell when we were both pretending the other didn't exist. But the walls in that villa were thin for secrets and thick for safety. I heard things. Conversations in Italian that stopped when I walked by. Phone calls behind closed doors. The name Rico whispered like a curse. Luciana was the only person who treated me like a human instead of a problem to solve. We had tea every afternoon on the terrace. She taught me Italian words, told me stories about Matteo as a boy, before the family business hardened him into something sharp and unreachable. He was kind once, she said, pouring chamomile into delicate cups. Soft-hearted. His father beat it out of him, said kindness was weakness, that weak men die young in our world. Is that what you believe? No, dear. I believe power without compassion is just fear in disguise. But no one asked what I believed. They only asked what I could control. The sunset painted everything gold. For a moment, I forgot about the cameras, the guards, the poison. For a moment, I was just a girl having tea with someone's grandmother. Then Mateo appeared on the terrace. Mama, you need rest. The doctor said. The doctor says many things. I ignore most of them. But she stood anyway, kissed my cheek, whispered something I almost didn't catch. He watches you when you're not looking. The way his father watched me. Be careful, child. Our love burns everything it touches. She left. Mateo took her chair, poured himself tea he wouldn't drink. We sat in silence for a long time. The kind of silence that's louder than words. They arrested Sophia this morning, he finally said. Did she confess? She didn't have to. Bank records don't lie. Someone wired her 200,000 euros 3 days before the poisoning. Who? His jaw tightened. We're still tracing it. But I have suspicions. Rico. He looked at me sharply. You've been listening. Hard not to when his name is mentioned like it's radioactive. Something almost like a smile crossed his face. Almost. My cousin. My father's nephew. He thinks he should run the family. Thinks my mother is too old. That I'm too soft. You? Soft. I laughed. Couldn't help it. You're about as soft as concrete. Compared to him, I'm mercy incarnate. He looked out at the lake. Rico believes power is taken, held through fear. I'm trying to prove it can be earned, maintained through respect. Is that why you're keeping me here? To prove something. I'm keeping you here because someone tried to kill my mother and you're now connected to that night. If I send you home, you're a loose end. Loose ends don't live long in this world. So I'm trapped. You're protected. There's a difference. You keep saying that. I don't see it. He turned to face me fully. The setting sun lit him up from behind, made him look almost human, almost vulnerable. You challenged me in my own study. Called me out. Most people won't even look me in the eye. They either fear me or want something from me. But you? You look at me like I'm just a man making bad choices. Aren't you? Yes. But no one else has the courage to say it. The air between us shifted, became something electric, dangerous in a different way. Why do you have my photo on your desk? The question came out before I could stop it. He didn't deny it, didn't look away. Because you're an anomaly. You don't fit, don't make sense. And things that don't make sense in my world usually end up being important. Or dangerous. Sometimes both. A guard appeared at the terrace entrance, cleared his throat. Sir, the dinner arrangements are ready. Mateo nodded. Look back at me. Have dinner with me tonight. Not as my prisoner. Not as my mother's friend. Just as you. Why? Because I want to understand you. And understanding requires conversation. Every instinct said no. Said run. Said this man was dangerous in ways I couldn't calculate. But I said yes anyway. Dinner was set in a small room I hadn't seen before. Intimate. Candles. Wine older than my parents. Food that tasted like art. Just us. No guards. No staff. Just Mateo and me and too many questions hanging in the air. Tell me about your life before, he said. Before the airport. Before this. So I did. Told him about my mom. Working 3 jobs to keep me in school. How she taught me that people are worth more than profit. That kindness isn't weakness. It's strength in its purest form. He listened. Really listened. Like every word mattered. Your mother sounds remarkable. She is. And she'd hate everything about this place. This life. Would she hate me? The question hung there. Heavy. Loaded. I don't know. Would you give her reason to? His phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Finally, he looked. His entire demeanor changed. Went cold. Hard. The man from the terrace vanished. What is it? Rico. He's calling during dinner. That's not an accident. That's a message. He answered. Put on speaker. Cousin. Rico's voice oozed through the phone like oil. Enjoying your evening? What do you want? Just checking on our mutual investments. Making sure your little American pet is comfortable. I froze. How did he know about me? Mateo's hand clenched around the glass. It didn't break, but should have. Stay away from her. Or what? You'll have me arrested like Sophia? Please. We both know you need me. The families expect unity, not division. The families expect results, not betrayal. Rico laughed. See you soon, cousin. Give my regards to our guest. The line went dead. Mateo looked at me. Something in his eyes I hadn't seen before. Worry. Real, genuine worry. Pack a bag. You're moving to the East Wing. Double security. He can't get to me here. You said I was safe. I said you were protected. That's not the same as safe. Nothing is safe when Rico's involved. He stood, walked toward the door, paused. I won't let him hurt you. Why do you care? He looked back. The candlelight made shadows dance across his face. Because you looked at my mother and saw a person. Not a name, not power, just a person who needed help. That kind of sight is rare, dangerous, and worth protecting. He left. I sat there, surrounded by expensive food I couldn't eat, expensive wine I couldn't drink, in an expensive room that felt smaller by the second. That night, I couldn't sleep. Again, the villa was too quiet, too still. Around 2 in the morning, I heard it. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, stopping outside my door. The handle turned. I held my breath. The door opened just an inch, then stopped. A voice. Low, unfamiliar. Tomorrow night. East Garden. Come alone. Then nothing. Just silence and my heart trying to break through my ribs. I ran to the door. Threw it open. The hallway was empty. But on the floor, a single white rose. No note. No explanation. Just a flower that felt like a threat. Would you believe fate sent her there? Or call it danger disguised as destiny? The alarm shattered the night like a scream. I was already awake. Had been for hours. Staring at that white rose. Try to decide if tomorrow night in the East Garden meant rescue or execution. Then the world exploded into chaos. Gunfire. Actual gunfire. The sound ripped through the villa like thunder breaking open the sky. Shouting in Italian. Running footsteps. More shots. I threw myself out of bed. Hit the floor. My hands shook so bad I could barely breathe. The door burst open. A guard I'd never seen before. Blood on his shirt. Gun in his hand. Come with me. Now. What's happening? East Gate. They breached the East Gate. Move. He grabbed my arm. Pulled me into the hallway. The villa had transformed into a war zone. Guards running with assault rifles. Staff screaming. Smoke billowing from somewhere downstairs. Where's Luciana? Where's Mateo? Signora Moretti is in the safe room. Mr. Moretti is at the breach. Now move or die. Your choice. We ran. Through hallways I didn't recognize. Downstairs that seemed to go on forever. The gunfire got louder. Closer. Someone was shooting back. Mateo's men. Had to be. We reached a small room under the main staircase. Hidden door. The guard shoved me inside. Luciana was there. Pale. Shaking. But her eyes were sharp. Aware. Gaia. Thank God. She grabbed my hands. This is Rico. It has to be. How do you know? Because he's done this before. To other families. He waits until they're comfortable. Secure. Then he strikes. The guard spoke rapid Italian into his radio. His face went white. What? What is it? He looked at me. At Luciana. Back to his radio. They're inside. Second floor. They're looking for someone. Looking for who? But I already knew. My stomach already knew. The American girl. Luciana's grip on my hands tightened. You're the target. Not me. Not Mateo. You. That doesn't make sense. I'm nobody. I don't matter. You matter to Mateo. Everyone's seen it. The way he watches you. Protects you. Rico thinks if he takes you, Mateo will break. Will make mistakes. An explosion rocked the villa. Plaster rained from the ceiling. The lights flickered once. Twice. Went out. Emergency lighting kicked in. Red. Everything looked like blood. More gunfire. Right above us. The floor shook. Then silence. Silence is worse than noise. Silence means someone won. The guard positioned himself at the door. Finger on the trigger. Waiting. Footsteps overhead. Slow. Searching. Heavy boots on marble. Under here, a voice called out. Muffled. Accented. Check under the stairs. The guard looked at Luciana. Some unspoken conversation passed between them. He mouthed one word. Run. Then he kicked open the door and started shooting. I grabbed Luciana. We ran deeper into the room. There was another door. Service entrance. Had to be. Old villas always had servant passages. Found it. Pulled it open. Darkness and stone steps leading down. We descended into the belly of the villa. Cold. Damp. Ancient. My foot slipped. Luciana caught me. For an old woman who'd been poisoned days ago, she was stronger than she looked. Behind us, the gunfire stopped, which meant the guard was dead. We kept moving. The passage opened into a wine cellar. Thousands of bottles. Hundreds of years of history. And absolutely nowhere to hide. Voices echoed down the stairs. They'd found a passage. There, in the corner. Luciana pointed to a heavy wooden door. That leads to the old chapel. It connects to the garden. If we can reach it. The voices got louder. Closer. Maybe 3 men. Maybe more. We ran. Made it to the door. It was locked. Of course it was locked. Luciana pulled a key from around her neck. Ancient. Ornate. Her hand shook so bad she dropped it. I grabbed it. Shoved it in the lock. Turned. The door opened. Light flooded in. Moonlight. Fresh air. Freedom. We stumbled into the chapel. Small. Abandoned. Weeds growing through the floor. That's when Luciana collapsed. Just dropped. Like someone cut her strings. No. No. I caught her. Lowered her to the ground. Stay with me. We're almost out. Her face was gray. Her lips blue. Her breathing shallow and wrong. My heart. The shock. Too much. She smiled. Actually smiled. Leave me. Run. I'm not leaving you. Calla. Listen. Behind the altar. Stone panel. Money. Passport. Documents. Take them. Get out of Italy. No. You remind me so much of my daughter. The one I lost. Her eyes filled with tears. Promise me. Promise you'll live. For both of us. The voices were in the wine cellar now. Seconds away. A shadow fell across the chapel entrance. But it wasn't the men chasing us. It was Mateo. Blood on his face. Jacket torn. Gun in his hand. He looked like vengeance given human form. His eyes found his mother on the ground. Something broke in his expression. Something fundamental. Manga. He dropped to his knees beside her. Check her pulse. Her breathing. Behind him, his men poured into the chapel. Secure perimeter. Check exits. Efficient. Deadly. One of them, a lieutenant with a scar across his jaw, pulled Mateo aside. Whispered something. Mateo's entire body went rigid. He turned to the lieutenant. Grabbed his collar. Say it again. They found him. One of the attackers. He's dying, but he's talking. And the lieutenant glanced at me. At Luciana. Back to Mateo. It was Rico. He ordered it. Everything. The poison. The attack. Tonight. All of it. Mateo's face went blank. Completely blank. The kind of blank that comes right before the storm. He stood. Looked down at his mother. Then at me. Stay with her. Don't move. Don't leave this chapel. Where are you going? He didn't answer. Just walked toward the door. Checked his gun. Extra magazine. The scarred lieutenant caught his arm. Said something in Italian too fast for me to follow. Mateo shook him off. Replied in English. Cold. Final. He tried to kill my mother. He attacked my home. He put Calla in danger. He looked back one more time. At me. Something in his eyes I couldn't name. Couldn't understand. Some things can't be forgiven. Then he was gone. I held Luciana's hand. She was breathing. Barely, but breathing. She squeezed my fingers. Pull me close. Stop him, please. If he kills Rico, he becomes the very thing he's been fighting against. The violence, the blood, the endless cycle. I can't stop him. You're the only one who can. Family betrayal, the deepest wound. Have you ever been betrayed by your own? I found Mateo in the armory, loading weapons like he was preparing for war. Maybe he was. Don't. My voice cut through the room. He didn't look up, just kept loading. Methodical, mechanical. Go back to my mother. She's with the doctor. She's stable. She's also begging you not to do this. Then she doesn't understand what needs to be done. I walk closer, close enough to see the blood splattered on his shirt, close enough to see his hands shaking. You're not a killer, Mateo. You don't know what I am. I know you've been trying to change, to be different than your father, your cousin, all of them. I know you want the family to mean something more than fear and violence. And look where that got me. My mother almost died. You almost died. My home was attacked. Mercy didn't prevent any of that. No, but more violence won't fix it either. He slammed the gun down, finally looked at me. His eyes were wild, broken, furious. He tried to kill my mother, the woman who raised me, protected me, loved me when everyone else only feared me. And you want me to what? Forgive him? Talk it out? Give him another chance. I want you to be better than him, better than this cycle. Because if you kill him, you prove him right. That power only comes through blood. Then at me, then at the gun on the table. His hand hovered over it, shaking, deciding. He picked it up. My heart stopped. Then he ejected the magazine, cleared the chamber. Sit down. Where is he? The lieutenant stepped forward. Safe house. North side. Fortified. 20 men with him. He thinks I'm coming to kill him. You're not. No, I'm going to do something worse. Mateo straightened his jacket, wiped the blood from his face, became someone else entirely. Someone cold, calculated, powerful. I'm going to let him live with what he's done. Exile, stripped of name, money, power, everything he values. He'll watch the family prosper without him. Watch me succeed where he failed. And he'll know every single day that he brought it on himself. Luciana smiled, tired, proud. Now that's the son I raised. Mateo made the call right there. Speakerphone, so we all could hear. Rico answered on the third ring. Confident, smug. Cousin, come to negotiate? How refreshing. No negotiation. Here's what's going to happen. You have 24 hours to leave Italy. Take nothing but clothes. No money. No contacts. No family name. You disappear. Completely. Rico laughed. Or what? You'll kill me? We both know you don't have the stomach. No, but the families do. I've already made calls. Showed them the evidence. Bank records. Communications. Witness statements. They all agree. You violated the code. Attacked during supposed peace. That's unforgivable. You're bluffing. Am I? Check your accounts. Already frozen. Your men? Already turned. Your protection? Gone. You're alone, Rico. Completely alone. And that's worse than death in our world. Silence on the other end. Long, heavy. You'll regret this. No, you will. Every day for the rest of your life. Goodbye, cousin. Mateo ended the call. His hand was still shaking, but his face was calm, resolved. He looked at me. Satisfied? It's not about me being satisfied. It's about you being able to live with yourself. I can live with this. He glanced at his mother. Can you? Yes. Justice can be silent. Revenge only echoes pain. You chose wisely, my son. The lieutenant approached. Sir, we've secured the property. Minor damage. 8 wounded. 2 dead. The number hit like a punch. 2 people dead. Because of Rico. Because of greed and jealousy and everything ugly in this world. Mateo nodded. Make sure their families are taken care of. Full benefits. College funds for their children. Everything. Yes, sir. After everyone left, it was just the 3 of us. Mateo, Luciana, me. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. Just tired. Mateo walked to the window, looked out at the villa. His home. His responsibility. His burden. You've changed me more than you know, he said quietly. Not looking at me. Maybe couldn't look at me. Change how? Made me want to be better. Not for power, not for the family, just to be someone worthy of how you see me. Before I could respond, his phone rang again. He answered, listened. His expression darkened. When? Are you certain? He hung up, looked at the lieutenant still standing guard. Rico's gone. Left the safe house an hour ago. Vanished. Sometimes the hardest power is restraint. Do you agree? Let me know below. 3 months passed like a dream I couldn't quite wake up from. The villa rebuilt. Stronger. Safer. The attack became a story people whispered about but never mentioned directly. Luciana recovered. Slowly. She walked the gardens every morning, feeding birds, tending roses. Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't almost died twice. But everything had changed. Matteo changed most of all. He started the Moretti Foundation. Legitimate business. Charity work. Schools in poor neighborhoods. Hospitals. Funding for families affected by violence. People called it redemption. Others called it a brilliant cover. I didn't know what to call it. Didn't know what to call anything anymore. He asked me to stay. To help run the foundation. To be the face of his new vision. I should have said no. Should have gone home. Back to my small apartment. My simple life. My mom who thought I'd been on extended vacation. But I didn't. Maybe because Luciana needed me. Maybe because the work mattered. Maybe because every time Matteo looked at me, I saw the man he was trying to become, not the one he'd been. We worked side by side, planning, organizing, building something that actually helped people. It was strange, surreal. The man who'd once kept me prisoner was now asking my opinion on everything, trusting my judgment, listening when I challenged him. The school in Naples needs more funding, I said, reviewing the budget reports. Take it from the administrative costs. Education comes first. That's your salary you're cutting. I have enough. He looked up from his laptop. You don't approve? I am surprised. That's all. 3 months ago, you pointed a gun at a wall because you wanted to kill your cousin. Now you're funding schools. People change. You taught me that. I didn't teach you anything. You taught me everything. His voice was soft, honest, vulnerable in ways he never was with anyone else. You showed me that strength isn't about control. It's about choice. And I'm choosing differently now. Luciana appeared in the doorway, smiling. That knowing smile that made me uncomfortable because it saw too much. The gala is next week. Calla, you'll need a dress. Something appropriate for the cameras. I don't do galas. You do now. You're the director of operations. People want to meet you. See the face behind the foundation. I looked at Matteo. He shrugged. She's not wrong. Your story about helping a stranger in an airport, it resonates. People want to believe kindness can change things. But they don't know the real story. No, and they never will. But that doesn't make the message less true. The next week blurred into dress fittings and media training and rehearsing answers to questions I didn't want to answer. The gala was enormous. Hundreds of people, politicians, business leaders, families with names that carried weight across continents. I wore a dress that cost more than my mom's car, smiled for cameras, shook hands with people who looked at me like I was a curiosity. Matteo stayed close. Not protective, supportive. There's a difference. A reporter cornered me near the champagne. Miss Brennan, is it true you worked at an airport before joining the foundation? Yes. And now you're working with one of Italy's most powerful families. That's quite a leap. The foundation's mission is to help people who don't have opportunities. I understand that world. I lived it. That perspective matters. There are rumors about your relationship with Mr. Moretti. Care to comment? Matteo appeared at my elbow. Smooth. Effortless. Miss Brennan and I are colleagues. Friends. The foundation is our shared focus. Nothing more. The reporter smiled like she didn't believe a word. But she moved on. Thank you. I whispered. You handled that perfectly. I don't like lying. We didn't lie. We're colleagues. We are friends. He paused. Even if there's more underneath that neither of us wants to name. The gala continued. Speeches, donations, photos of Matteo and me standing beside a display showing the foundation's work. I looked at one photo. Really looked. We were smiling. Natural. Like we belonged there. Maybe we did. As the night ended, Luciana found me on the terrace. Alone. Needing air. You're good for him, she said simply. I'm just doing a job. No, you're doing much more than that. You're showing him that power can build instead of destroy. That the Moretti name can mean something other than fear. She took my hand. The world doesn't change by power, but by persistence. You're persistent. Keep being that. I went back to my room late. Exhausted. Overwhelmed. Found a note slipped under my door. Mateo's handwriting. Thank you for staying. Thank you for believing I could be better. You were right about mercy. About choosing differently. I'm not the man I was 3 months ago. That's because of you. Whatever happens next, know that you changed everything. I held the note. Read it 3 times. Try to understand what it meant. What he meant. The next morning, everything made sense. Rico was back. Not in person. In threat. In message. In photographs delivered to the front gate. Pictures of me. At the gala. In the gardens. Working in my office. With one message written across them. You should have killed me when you had the chance. Mateo stood in his study, staring at the photos. His face unreadable. He's been watching, waiting, planning. What does he want? Revenge. He lost everything. The only thing left is making me suffer. So what do we do? He looked at me. Really looked. Like he was memorizing my face. We finish this. Once and for all. But not with violence. With exposure. With truth. We show the families exactly what Rico is. What he's done. Remove any possibility of him coming back. And if that doesn't work, then we prepare for war. Would you take that offer or walk away for peace? The old wine cellar smelled like earth and secrets. I wasn't supposed to be there. Mateo had told me to stay in the main house. Stay visible. Stay safe. But I'd heard the servants whispering. Something about a meeting. Something about Rico being spotted near the property. I needed to know. Needed to understand what was coming. The cellar door was unlocked. Careless. Or a trap. I descended the stone steps. Cold. Dark. My phone flashlight barely cut through the shadows. That's when I heard voices. 2 men. Speaking Italian too fast for me to follow. I pressed against the wall. Held my breath. Then someone grabbed me from behind. Hand over my mouth. Arm around my waist. Dragging me backward into the darkness. I tried to scream. Kick. Fight. Quiet. Or they'll hear you. The voice was familiar. The scarred lieutenant. Mateo's man. He released me. Put a finger to his lips. Pointed toward the voices. We moved closer. Careful. Silent. Through the wine racks, I could see them. 2 figures. One tall. One shorter. Both wearing dark clothes. The shorter one turned. Light caught his face. Rico. My heart stopped. He was speaking to someone. Someone I couldn't see. Their voice was muffled. Distorted. The girl is the weakness. Everyone knows it. Mateo's soft about her. Use that. And if he doesn't cooperate, then she dies. Simple. He gets a message. He either steps down or watches everyone he cares about disappear. The lieutenant tensed beside me. Reached for his gun. I grabbed his arm. Shook my head. Not yet. Not without knowing the whole plan. Rico continued. The gala was perfect. All those cameras. All that attention. When she disappears, it'll be international news. The Moretti Foundation director. Kidnapped. Murdered. Who knows? The family will crumble. The empire will fracture. And I'll be there to pick up the pieces. When? Tonight. She walks the gardens every evening. Alone. Predictable. We take her then. The other figure nodded. Started to turn. I saw his face. My stomach dropped. It was one of Mateo's guards. Someone who'd been at the villa for years. Someone we trusted. The lieutenant saw it too. His jaw clenched. Murder in his eyes. We backed away. Slowly. Carefully. Made it to the stairs without being heard. Outside, he immediately called Mateo. Explained everything. Mateo's voice through the phone was ice. Bring her to my study. Now. And double the security on my mother. 5 minutes later, I was in Mateo's study. Guards everywhere. Luciana brought in for safety. Mateo paced. Furious. Calculating. Dangerous. He's using you as bait. Expects me to react emotionally. Make mistakes. So what do? We use his plan against him. You still take your walk tonight. But you won't be alone. Guard the shadows. Cameras everywhere. When Rico makes his move, we have everything documented. Every crime. Every violation. Enough to bury him permanently. You want me to be bait? Actually be bait. I want to end this. Tonight. No more threats. No more waiting. He wants you. He could try to take you. And when he fails, the families will see exactly what he is. Luciana stood, walked to her son. This is too dangerous. She's not trained, not prepared. If something goes wrong, nothing will go wrong. I'll have 20 men within 50 feet. Snipers on the roof. Drones monitoring every angle. She'll be safer than she's ever been. Except I'll be standing in a garden, waiting for a psychopath to try to kidnap me. Yes. And you think this is a good plan? I think it's the only plan that ends this permanently. I looked at Luciana. She looked terrified, resigned, like she'd seen this movie before and knew how it ended. What do you think? I asked her. I think my son is asking you to risk your life for our family, for our mistakes. That's not fair, not right, but it might be necessary. I thought about my mom, working those double shifts, teaching me about courage, about doing hard things because they mattered. Okay, I'll do it. Mateo's shoulders dropped. Relief, fear, gratitude, all at once. I won't let anything happen to you. I swear it. You better not. Because if I die, I'm haunting you forever. He almost smiled. Almost. That evening, I walked through the gardens. Alone. Exposed. Every instinct screaming at me to run. The sun was setting. Gold and red bleeding across the sky. Beautiful. Terrifying. I heard footsteps behind me. Slow. Deliberate. Turned. Rico stood there. Gun in his hand. Smile on his face. Hello, Calla. We finally meet properly. Mateo knows you're here. Of course he does. I'm counting on it. He gestured with the gun. Walk. Toward the east gate. Nice and slow. You won't make it off this property, won't I? I have 3 exit routes. For vehicles. And enough leverage to make your boyfriend very cooperative. He's not my boyfriend. No. The way he looks at you says otherwise. The way he's risked everything to protect you says otherwise. Love makes people stupid. Weak. Predictable. We reached the gate. It was open. A car waited outside. Where were the guards? Where was Mateo? Rico pushed me forward. Get in. That's when the lights hit. Everywhere. Blinding. Helicopters overhead. Sirens in the distance. Mateo stepped out of the shadows. Gun drawn. 20 men behind him. It's over, Rico. Rico grabbed me. Pull me against him. Gun to my head. Not quite, cousin. You let me leave, or she dies. Right here. Right now. Mateo's face went blank. That terrifying blank that meant he was calculating odds. Measuring angles. Deciding who lives and who dies. Shoot me, Rico continued, and my finger twitches. She's dead before she hits the ground. Let me go and maybe she lives. Your choice. The standoff lasted forever. Seconds that felt like hours. Then, Luciana stepped forward. Slow. Steady. Fearless. Let her go, Rico. This is between you and me. You wanted to kill me. Here I am. Mama, no. Mateo's voice cracked. It's time. Time to end this bloodline curse. Let mercy finish what violence started. Rico's grip loosened. Just a fraction. Confused. Off balance. You'd sacrifice yourself for her? I'd sacrifice myself to save my son from becoming you. In that moment, I moved, ducked, twisted. Everything the lieutenant had taught me in 3 hurried minutes before the walk. Mateo fired. One shot. Clean. Precise. Rico's gun fell. He dropped to his knees, clutching his shoulder. Blood. Pain. Defeat. Mateo kept his gun trained. Guards swarmed. Arrests. Handcuffs. Evidence collected. The families had seen everything. Live feed. Every word. Every threat. Rico was finished. Mateo lowered his gun, looked at his cousin, at the man who'd tried to destroy everything. Exile, he said quietly, instead of death. Because my mother's right. Mercy ends this. Not blood. Rico laughed. Bitter. Broken. You're a fool. Maybe. But I'm a fool who can sleep at night. They dragged Rico away. To prison. To trial. To justice. Mateo found me, standing by the wall. Shaking. Alive. Somehow alive. He didn't say anything. Just pulled me in his arms. Held on like I might disappear. I thought I lost you. You didn't. I could have. That gun was at your head. One wrong move. But it wasn't a wrong move. It worked. We're okay. Luciana joined us. Tears on her face. Pride in her eyes. Let mercy end this bloodline curse, she repeated. And it has. Could you forgive a betrayal that deep? Drop a love emoji if mercy wins for you. 6 months later, the Moretti Foundation opened its 15th school. In a neighborhood where kids used to fight over lunch. Now they fought over library books. I stood in the courtyard, watching children play, laughing, safe, federal educated. This was real. This mattered. Mateo appeared beside me. Quieter these days. Softer, like some weight had finally lifted. They're naming the next hospital after you. Absolutely not. Too late. The board already voted. Tell them to name it after your mother. They did. Luciana Moretti Children's Hospital. And the school next door? Caleb Brennan Academy. I looked at him. He was smiling. Actually smiling. Not the cold, calculated mask. A real smile. When did you become sentimental? When you show me it wasn't weakness. We walked through the gardens. The same gardens where Rico had held a gun to my head. Where everything had almost ended. Now they were peaceful. Rebuilt. Reclaimed. I spoke to your mother yesterday, Mateo said casually. I stopped walking. You what? She called. Wanted to thank the foundation for the donation. For helping the diner stay open. We talked for an hour. About what? You. Mostly. How proud she is. How she always knew you'd change the world. He paused. She invited me to visit. Meet her properly. And I said yes. If you don't mind. My chest felt tight. Warm. Overwhelming. She'll grill you about everything. Your intentions. Your business. Whether you're treating me right. Good. I'd expect nothing less. We reached the lake. The same lake I'd seen my first morning. When everything was terrifying and foreign and impossible. Now it felt like home. Rico's trial concluded yesterday, Mateo said. 20 years. No parole. How do you feel about that? Relieved. Sad. Angry. Everything at once. He looked at the water. But mostly grateful. That you lived. That my mother lived. That we found a different way. Luciana was waiting by the terrace. Older now. Frilier. But her eyes still sharp. Photos, she called. The newspaper wants photos for the article. We posed. The three of us. Mateo in his suit. Me in my simple dress. Luciana between us. A family built not on blood but on choice. On mercy. On deciding to be different. The photographer snapped away. Captured moments that would tell a story the world would never fully understand. They didn't know about the airport. The poison. The attack. The gun. The choice between revenge and redemption. They just saw a foundation. A family. People trying to make things better. And maybe that was enough. Later that night, I found Mateo in his study. Same study where he'd once interrogated me. Threatened me. Tried to figure out if I was enemy or innocent. Can't sleep? He asked. Thinking. About how a sandwich changed everything. About how kindness almost got me killed. About how I ended up here in a world I never belonged to, doing work I never imagined. Regrets. I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, not one. He smiled. Stood. Walked over to where I stood by the window. Thank you, he said simply. For staying. For believing. For not running when you should have. Thank you for becoming someone worth believing in. We stood there. Close. The space between us charged with everything unspoken. Everything that had built over months of working together. Fighting together. Choosing mercy together. Kala, don't. I interrupted. Don't say something that changes this. Not yet. Let's just be grateful we're here. Alive. Better. That's enough for now. He nodded. Understanding. Outside, the villa glowed. Safe. Peaceful. Transformed. 3 months later, a new article came out. International news. The Moretti Foundation's global expansion. Programs in 12 countries. Thousands of lives changed. And there, in the photo, Mateo and me. Standing beside a school. Smiling. The caption read, From tragedy to transformation. How one family's choice for mercy changed an empire. People shared it. Liked it. Commented about hope. About second chances. About how kindness ripples outward. They never knew the truth. The whole truth. But old man Whitlow knew. He'd been there that night, at Gata Fortescue, watching from his corner of the airport, seeing everything. He tells this story sometimes to travelers passing through, to people who look lost. Some stories end not in thunder, but in peace, he says. That girl, feeding an old woman a sandwich. She had no idea she was changing the world. But that's how it works, isn't it? We never know which kindness will matter, which choice will ripple, which person will save by simply seeing them. He leans back, smiles, remembers. Maybe the next stranger you feed will change your world too. Maybe your kindness will be the thing that saves someone. Not just their life, their soul. And somewhere in Italy, in a villa by a lake, a woman who used to work at an airport helps run an empire of mercy. All because she saw someone who needed a sandwich. All because she chose kindness over convenience. All because she believed people could change. And they did. If you believe in quiet justice, in the power of mercy, in kindness being the rarest form of power, then this story is for you.